Next, a nursing association's 121-year evolution into Life Care Alliance.
Then, the astounding growth of Nationwide Children's Hospital.
And a look at what's left of the old deaf school.
Then, see where women receive help in order to get sober while caring for their kids.
Support for Columbus Neighborhoods is provided by
At American Electric Power, we've been proud sponsors of WOSU Public Media for many years and strong supporters of our headquarters city here in Columbus, both downtown and in neighborhoods like yours.
State Auto Insurance Companies, transforming to become a digital provider of auto, home, and business insurance. And for nearly 100 years, committed to the people and neighborhoods of Central Ohio. State Auto. The Columbus Foundation. Smart philanthropy for a smart city. ColumbusFoundation.org. Bailey Cavalieri. Your relationship with your law firm doesn't need to be complicated, it just needs to be right. CODA. Keeps our community moving forward. Falgren Moortime Marketing and Communications. Think wider. Ohio Health focuses on you and your family with a mission to improve the health of our communities. Women in Philanthropy at Ohio State, changing lives by giving together. And by contributions from these and other Columbus area families who support WOSU. Thank you.
Nursing was one of the few career choices available to women over 100 years ago. In fact, women played a key role in the Instructive District Nursing Association, founded in 1898 in Columbus.
Today we know that organization by a different name, Life Care Alliance. It was Columbus's first in-home healthcare organization and the state's first visiting nurse association. Charlene talked with Life Care Alliance's president and CEO, Chuck Gehring, at a unique restaurant the organization runs.
Some say that good food equals good health. And with over a century of experience in providing good food and medical support to local seniors, Life Care Alliance has a lot to say about the subject. Today, I'm having lunch with the president and CEO of Life Care Alliance, Chuck Gehring, to learn more about this organization's long history of community service. Oh, that looks great. I'm going to have that salad.
Good.
How about you?
Yes, I'm getting the daily taco special today.
Oh, Taco Tuesday.
Yes, Taco Tuesday.
All right, this is really nice. Tell me again where we are. Thank you.
Charlene, this is Carrie's Cafe at our Life Care Alliance building on 670 Harmon Avenue on the west side. And we serve between 150 and 300 seniors and medically challenged individuals a day in here, plus anybody from the public like you.
This is so nice. I didn't expect a real restaurant.
Yes, it is, because we want our clientele to get something a little nicer once in a while, so it's nicer for the clients to come, be able to socialize in addition to just having meals on wheels in their home.
This looks delicious. I can't wait to dig into it.
Good, me neither.
Let's go. I was amazed to find out what a long history this organization has in the community.
Well, we started in 1898. Catherine Nelson Black, who went by Carrie, hence Carrie's Cafe, and a couple of her friends took trains to Chicago and Philadelphia to look at a new concept called a district nursing office. And there were no health departments in those days. In fact, we were the health department in Central Ohio till 1950. But they went and said, we need to have a district nursing office here in Columbus in order to service people with health issues in their own home, keep them in their own home, and out of the hospital. Because the hospitals in 1898, they were full, and people were going there for a cold. So we were trying to help them with things in their home that could be handled in the home.
What were the conditions like back then? How were people living, and why were so many people getting sick?
The conditions were not as good as you can imagine. The sanitation was not as good. Milk wasn't being pasteurized like it is today. Food wasn't kept under temperature control like we do today. So there were a lot of issues in the community, and there just weren't a lot of ways to fix them. So our nurses would go out from house to house, and actually service people who were in need. They didn't know how to deal with certain diseases, for example, tuberculosis, which was rampant in those days, what you did about that. And people just weren't educated, and they just didn't have access to health care. Let's face facts.
Seeing the pictures of women who are nursing, nurses taking care of babies, taking care of old people, that's really admirable, but that was not the general practice of the day. Things
No.
were segregated,
Yes.
immigrants were looked down on,
Yes.
people were forced to live in the worst parts of the
Yes,
city,
yes.
and yet these women went into those very homes.
Yes, we've done a lot of study on this, and I can tell you the African American population was really sequestered kind of in 3 streets on the west side. Well, obviously, the conditions were not quite as good as some other parts of town, the wealthier parts of town, and they didn't have access to the health care and the other opportunities other people did. So that's what our group was trying to do, was give them the opportunity for all the new immigrants who were flooding into the United States and Columbus, Ohio at that time.
Did they work with the settlement houses?
Absolutely. The settlement houses would get people in town, get them going, might have a food pantry for them, and then our group would provide the nursing services, the teaching, the training, the health care that they needed, and between everybody's efforts, they survived and thrived.
Baby camp. What was that?
Well, the Columbus Baby Camp was founded back in 1908 because the infant mortality rate at that time was 150 deaths per thousand, 15%. And what it was really the first daycare. It was not an orphanage. And people would either drop their baby off in the morning, pick it up at night, or they'd drop the baby off on Monday morning and pick it up Saturday night, because people used to work 6 days a week in the breweries and in the buggy works and in the other manufacturing facilities and things like that. They would make sure they got plenty of fresh air, quality milk, which was a key thing that not everybody had. And we ended up closing the Columbus Baby Camp in 1932 because they had lowered that infant mortality rate from 150 deaths per thousand to 5 deaths per thousand.
They were incredibly successful.
Very successful by doing very basic things.
Are there any stories that stood out to you?
The city used to flood a lot. And in 1904 and 1906, the city flooded. My predecessor was actually put in charge of all relief efforts for the city, including police and fire. And we go up now to 1913, and it was a horrendous flood in 1913. Again, we were in charge of all relief efforts. Many houses on the west side were simply swept away in the floods. So people did not have a place to live. The schools were shut down. They didn't have food. It was really rebuilding a lot of the community, especially on the west side in the Franklinton area.
So how did people pay for these services?
Well, for the most of our history, most of the services are provided at no charge. They are provided to people who are most in need, oftentimes poor, although anybody today can have our services. And in those days, too, in 1898, anybody could have the services. They would just ask the wealthier people to help pay for them. And in the First Minutes book, I want to tell you, Catherine Nelson Black was quoted in that book as she founded us to take care of those nobody else pays any attention to. And that was very true back then, and it's still true today.
But it did not remain the IDNA.
Around 1950, the government said we're supposed to have a government health department. So they broke off what is traditional now, the health department, and we kept doing what we were doing. About 45 years ago, the Older Americans Act came in under President Johnson, and that said that if we could keep seniors and medically challenged individuals independent and in their own home, we save tremendous amount of tax dollars. So that started the Meals on Wheels program, and we were the second city in the country to take on the Meals on Wheels program. And today, we're the largest independent charity provider of Meals on Wheels in the United States. We've taken on the Columbus Cancer Clinic that Carrie also founded. We've taken on Project Open Hand as a merger partner, which is the big AIDS nutrition program in town. Last year, we took clients from 40 counties.
Oh my goodness, I'm just so impressed with that, and with my lunch. Thank you so much, Chuck. This has been terrific.
Thank you for coming, Charlene.
Next, the astounding growth of Nationwide Children's Hospital.
And a look at what's left of the old deaf school.
Then, see where women receive help in order to get sober while caring for their kids. Helping hands, that's the theme of this episode of Columbus Neighborhoods. We're looking at people who pitched in to make a difference, and we're beginning with the women who saw the need for a specialized hospital in Columbus for children.
It began with a bake sale, $125, and 9 beds. More than a century ago, no one could have predicted how Nationwide Children's Hospital would grow.
This was a city that basically ran on coal, night and day, in its industries, in its houses, and so on. Massive amounts of coal dust were in the air constantly. There was a black cloud over the city most of the time. The coal got on your clothes, it got in your hair, and it got in your lungs. And a lot of young children were suffering from a variety of respiratory diseases, and local hospitals were having trouble handling that.
There was a group of women who realized that there were children in Franklin County who weren't getting the care they needed because their parents couldn't pay for it. So they went out and did the very first fundraiser.
They went out and did a glorified bake sale, if you will, and raised $125 to begin the process of doing a children's hospital. What they really did was go talk to all their wealthy friends around town. And so by 1892, enough money had come into being to actually build a children's hospital. That initial hospital, opened by 1894, was located on the southwest corner of Franklin Park, with an initial 7 children brought into that house, essentially a 2-story house. And over the course of the next few years, additions were going to be made to that house until you get up first to 70 patients, and then later as many as 150 patients. That building over on the park would serve Children's Hospital until early into the 20th century. An entirely new building is built east of Parsons Avenue along Livingston Avenue. Children's grows tremendously over the period when it had 7 initial patients on the one hand to as many as 10,000 going through in a given season these days. That growth takes place over a long period of time. It includes a variety of structures over the years. In fact, the original red brick building that was Children's in 1924 no longer exists. It's been replaced by the growth of newer buildings put on that same site. Now, children's hospitals had a long association with The Ohio State University, keeping in mind that the OSU Medical School came into being in its modern form in 1914. There were pediatric doctors working at Children's Hospital on a part-time and a volunteer basis from 1914 on. It won't be, however, until the 1940s that a really strong seal is made between Ohio State University's medical school's pediatric department and Children's Hospital. In fact, the chief doctor at the hospital will also be the head of the pediatric part of the College of Medicine, and that arrangement remains from that point on.
Over the years, it's been the wisdom of the board for the hospital to continue to be here in this community. We're very proud of the legacy, and we believe this is where we can serve the greatest need by being in this central location.
Next, a look at what's left of the old deaf school.
And then see where women receive help in order to get sober while caring for their kids. The Ohio School for the Deaf by Topiary Park is an impressive building that's gone through a lot of changes.
And in this Driving with Darby, architectural historian Jeff Darby tells us how the building is finding new life as a private school.
Ohio was a leader in establishing state institutions to support, to house, and educate people with mental and physical disabilities. There was the Deaf School on East Town Street, the Blind School on Parsons Avenue, and on the west side of the city were the mental institutions. And we are going to pull up and visit the Deaf School on East Town Street. We're on East Town Street in downtown Columbus in the Topiary Park, which is the site of the old Ohio State School for the Deaf. It began here in the 1830s with several buildings, and it was an important institution that served people from all over the state who had the disability of not being able to hear. Over time, several buildings were built, but they were all swept away in the 1860s when a large main building was built at the back of the site on the north side. As time went on and more students arrived at the school, they had to build a new educational building. That was built in 1899 at the west edge of the park. The deaf school stayed at the Town Street site until 1959, when it moved to Morse Road, where it remains today. That left 2 large empty buildings still owned by the state of Ohio, and for many years the state used them as office buildings. In the 1970s, the state vacated these buildings and their future was uncertain. Then in 1981, the 1860s building caught fire and had a lot of damage. During the demolition of that building after the fire, the contractor punched 2 holes in the front of the school building, I guess thinking he would get the contract to demolish that building as well. But the City Recreation and Parks Department had already accepted the property as a public park and wanted that building preserved, so they stopped the demolition. And Recreation and Parks then developed the Topiary Park, inspired by 2 park employees who designed the park to represent the painting in the collection of the Art Institute of Chicago, the famous pointillist painting by Georges Seurat, Sunday Afternoon on the Isle of La Grande Jatte in Paris. The old school building, the 1899 building, had been rehabilitated in the 1980s as an office building. And when that use ended, Cristo Rey High School sort of discovered the building, thought this would be a good place, let's put a school in a school building, and that's how it came about that it has returned to its function as a school. This is one of the 2 main entrances on the east side of the old deaf school building. And they're really interesting architecturally. The building style is known as Jacobean Revival. That's an architectural style that combines English precedents and French precedents and so on. But it's really unique to this building. You'll notice too, the shield up above with the backward D's back to back, standing for deaf and dumb. Now, those are terms we don't use anymore, but they were clinical terms at the time this building was built. So it's a measure of how things change over time. Let's go inside and have a look around. In the renovation for Cristo Rey Columbus High School, a lot of the architectural features of the building were retained intact. The gym ceiling, wood ceiling, is still original. The wood floors. There are areas that have been patched where wood was damaged or missing. We're in one of the classrooms at Cristo Rey, and I'd like to introduce you to Jim Foley, who's president at Cristo Rey High School. Hi, Jim. Good to see you again.
Jeff.
In this wonderful facility. Jim, clearly this is an old building. How did you create a modern high school out of an old high school?
We wanted to keep it historically accurate, but we also wanted to add to it a modern touch, modern technology to make it an educationally cutting-edge facility. So for example, on the historic side, the floors when we walked in were horrible, but they've been sanded down, finished, and they look beautiful now, and we're walking on 1899 floors here. The ceilings had been dropped to a ridiculous point that cut out all the beautiful windows that we have in here. And in an educational facility, you want to have windows. So we raised the ceilings up back to their original height. But then we have modern technology. The entire school is wireless. So technologically, it's a very cutting-edge institution in a very beautiful building.
Tell us about the Cristo Rey High School, the model of it, how it serves the community. It's different from most high schools, isn't it?
Cristo Rey is a college prep school that is designed to be affordable for families that could not otherwise afford a good, strong, private college prep education. The unique feature of Cristo Rey is that we have a work-study program. All of the students work 5 full days a month, and that does 2 things. On the one hand, it provides the income to support the building, and secondly, what it does is it allows the kids to be in a professional environment and to rub shoulders with professionals and to learn from them and to be mentored by them. And the results are that at Cristo Rey schools throughout the country, every senior at every graduating school has at least 1 college offer on graduation day. So that's the success story that we are now a part of.
Well, Jim, you've certainly done a great job here, taking a building that looked like it didn't have much of a future and really giving it one for the foreseeable future. And it really tells us how important it is that we keep these landmarks in our community. They keep us anchored in time, they give us a sense of place, and they remind us of how important these institutions once were in the state of Ohio.
Anyone living with an addiction is facing a challenge they have to deal with every day. Now imagine standing up to that challenge while you're trying to be a mom.
That's right. Amethyst is an intensive treatment program that allows mothers and children to stay together while helping the women on the road to recovery. And it's the only program of its kind in the entire state.
I didn't start using it until my oldest was 5. So I had some experience of being a sober mother for a while, but I had a marriage go bad, and unfortunately I started doing drugs. And I was not able to maintain being a parent. I mean, I started out here in the shelter, so I spent 3 months in the homeless shelter with my daughters before I got here. We can't do it by ourselves. If we could, we would. There's so much power in asking for help. I mean, I know for me, when I was rock bottom, I hit my knees. And I wasn't sure about no higher power at the time, but I needed somebody or something because I couldn't do it by myself. And this place offers that help.
Amethyst is an intensive treatment program with housing attached to it. Our specialties are addiction therapy, mental health counseling. We also work with women who've experienced severe trauma, sexual abuse, physical abuse, and also victims of human trafficking.
How to handle trauma, and basically how to teach them.
Well, Amethyst is the only program in Ohio that allows mothers and kids to stay together while mom is in treatment. And it's so critically important. What we've realized is women are not ready for treatment unless they feel safe and they know their kids are in a safe environment and their basic needs are met.
I became unemployable. I became a mother that I did not want to be for my kids. I have small children that are 6 and 7. I already have a teenager that's 17 that has seen me drink throughout her whole childhood. And it was about time for me. I was literally tired. Trauma is a big class for me. I didn't know that I didn't think that I had any trauma. I was one of those clients that when they got here, my childhood was great. I had both my parents. I wasn't abused. I didn't have any trauma. I didn't know very little things like a breakup could be traumas or miscarriages can be traumas. Things that I did not look at to be traumatic are traumatic.
Once you've been addicted for decades upon decades, it's going to take longer than 90 days or 180 days. We really need that long-term program just to begin to tear down the walls. And really, we help women figure out why they picked up drugs and alcohol in the first place. What void are they trying to fill? What hole is there? What demon are they running from? What trauma are they trying to avoid? Because until they figure out that piece, they are not going to get to the point of long-term recovery. Certainly in a shorter-term program, they can abstain from drugs, but we strive for something more than that. We don't want just abstinence, we want long-term recovery.
This program teaches you a lot of acceptance. Just accept who you are. It's nothing to be ashamed of. You're not the only person in this world that's like that, and you're not going to be the last. And it took me being here this long, being with this many different women and people that care about you to tell you that you're not alone. And that's the best feeling, because a lot of times I just would beat myself up because I couldn't understand why I can't stop. I can take care of my kids better. It's still a struggle because it's my first time being a parent sober, but I'm learning how to do that as well. I mean, it's like the first time in 37 years I'm actually happy.
When I first got here, I didn't have a lot of self-esteem. So my 11-year-old is kind of like that too. She stands behind me even though she's taller than me. And we're learning together, like, you look good today, or do you know that mommy thinks you're beautiful, or mom, you did a good job. So we're growing together, and that's really, really important because I'm not just recovering, they are too. I've got to get real close to a lot of the counselors and case aides here, and they do amazing things. I know that they have helped me become the longest sober I ever have been and a better person, so that's the kind of interaction I want. And I have taken a 6-year break from school, so I'm going to go back to school and I'm going to get a degree, and I'm going to keep going. I want my master's. Yeah, and this place has made it possible for sure. I don't have to limit myself anymore. It feels good.
Thanks for being with us, and remember you can catch all our episodes on columbusneighborhoods.org. Plus, see our stories on the WOSU mobile app. And you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
We'll see you back here next week on Columbus Neighborhoods.
You can keep it, throw it away. Life is little and gone in a day. There's a reason to do it today.
Support for Columbus neighborhoods is provided by
At American Electric Power, we've been proud sponsors of WOSU Public Media for many years and strong supporters of our headquarters city here in Columbus, both downtown and in neighborhoods like yours.
State Auto Insurance Companies, transforming to become a digital provider of auto, home, and business insurance. And for nearly 100 years, committed to the people and neighborhoods of Central Ohio. State Auto. The Columbus Foundation. Smart philanthropy for a smart city. ColumbusFoundation.org. Bailey Cavalieri. Your relationship with your law firm doesn't need to be complicated, it just needs to be right. CODA. Keeps our community moving forward. Falgren Moortime Marketing and Communications. Think wider. Ohio Health focuses on you and your family with a mission to improve the health of our communities. Women in Philanthropy at Ohio State, changing lives by giving together. And by contributions from these and other Columbus area families who support WOSU. Thank you.